Hey y'all, it's Amber. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Whether you're a first time visitor, returning viewer, subscriber, welcome. I'm happy to have you. Welcome to another video. Hold one moment. Today's video is going to be our October TBR jar video, and I'm so excited about it. I have my special little pumpkin here with some special fall prompts. They are spooky, cozy, personal reading goals, and I'm so excited to get into it. But before I do, if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do so. Make sure you turn on notifications so that you can be aware and updated every single time I make a post. With that being said, we are not going to delay. So for the month of October, I am going to pick 10 prompts. For the month of September, it's not currently over yet, but it's looking like I will have read 5 books in the month of September. It's been a lot going on. I'll sit down and film an update video eventually. So I just really haven't had as much time to dedicate to reading as I wanted to. You would think being at home would give me more of an opportunity to, but when you have a kid that has a lot of appointments, when you have a lot of things that need to be done to be taken care of your household, it's kind of difficult too. But I am going to do more of a reading priority for the month of October. I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be preparing for the holiday seasons with my son for his first time. I'm going to be planning my son's birthday party, so just stick around for all of that. Make sure you subscribe. You can also follow along on my Instagram. I'll put the handle down below. I do have a TikTok account, but I haven't posted any videos. I'm still deciding whether that's a platform I would like to be a part of or not. But if I do in the future, I will make sure to let you know. But you can definitely keep up with my day-to-day life on my Instagram. With that being said, I've done enough talking. Let's go ahead and get into these prompts. Like I said, I am going to be picking 10 prompts. I'm going to pick them over here, and I'm going to allow you to come with me to pick them off of my bookshelves to get some possible options, and then we'll come back together at the end of the video. We'll look through our options and I will make my final decisions. So let's go ahead and pull our prompts. I'm excited, y'all. I've been waiting for this. Cozy and seasonal vibes, a book that feels like a cozy blanket, and a warm drink. Speaking of drink, I love my drink in there. Prompt number 2. A book with a haunted house setting. Ooh, I know exactly what book I want to pull for this prompt. I'm also going to be considering Kindle Unlimited books for this as well. So the book that I have in mind, I do have 2 books that came to mind. One, I have a physical copy, and the other one I have on Kindle. So I'm still sleepy. For a book with a haunted house theme, I'm going to have to go to my Kindle and see what I got available. Okay, not quite a haunted house, but we're gonna make it try to fit. One option that I will have is the Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. That is an option. I also have a book that I borrowed through Kindle Unlimited by Mads Rafferty, I believe is her name, and I'm trying to find it because I believe that actually fits the prompt. Daily Occupants is also another option. So I think out of those 2 options, we have Daily Occupants and we have, what did I just say? I don't remember, but I already made up in my mind that I would like to choose Daily Occupants for the haunted house setting. So that is going to be the book that I use for this particular prompt. All right, y'all, I am back. I have my baby boy in my lap. He's currently laying in my lap. So if you hear him or if he starts fussing, you may see him. He may be making an appearance. His little feet, as you can see, are making an appearance. Mommy duties call, and gotta answer when it calls. Prompt number 3. I'm gonna let my son pick it. You wanna pick one for mommy? Okay, or not? Let's see, prompt number 3. A book inspired by folklore or mythology. Woo! This is gonna be fun. I get to go to my fantasy shelf for this one, and I'm looking forward to it because I have quite a few books that matches this prompt. Yeah. Okay. All right, prompt number 4. Let's see, what is it, son? A book where the cover could be a Halloween costume. I do have an idea for this prompt as well. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of creative direction we take this prompt in. All right, we have 6 more prompts. I'm down to 1 hand or a hand and a half. So let's go ahead and pick prompt number 5. A thriller or mystery? What we thinking? What we thinking? I even wonder if I will be able to find children's books to fit these prompts. If I do, we're going to add them to my son's October TBR. All right. 5 down, 5 more to go. Next prompt. A book with dark, blood, or dead in the title. I think we can figure something out with that. I'm thinking either maybe a dark romance. I don't know if I have any dark romances with that in the title, but we'll figure it out soon enough. Prompt number 7. This is fun. A story set in autumn or around Halloween. So we would definitely be picking one of the fall books for this. I ordered quite a few fall books. I'll do a fall haul, a short, of all of the books that I purchased for the fall season. So be on the lookout for that. But we're going to pick one of them to put on our October TBR. That is prompt number 7. Prompt number 8. All right. This is a book with a fall food or drink reference. Pie, cider, apples, etc. Okay. Well, I'm looking at 2 books already on my shelf that matches this prompt, but we're going to see what else can fit. So I am excited for that. I think he likes this prompt as well. No. We don't eat it. We don't eat it. He gets the point though, right? We're looking for something that has pie, apples, spice, cinnamon, any fall related food. So I'm looking forward to that. That is for prompt number 8. All right, y'all, 2 more. This is winding down. I'm really having fun. Are you having fun? My co-host is living his best life with this prompt. For prompt number 9, a book that's been on your TBR for over a year. Ooh, this should be fun. So I think I'm probably gonna go the fantasy book route, or the route of a book that I purchased maybe last year for my Kindle that I just haven't gotten to. So we'll see. I'm gonna keep the fall vibes going. Yeah, we're gonna keep the fall vibes going. Yummy toes. Yummy toes. A book that's been on my TBR for over a year. I picked this one because I have literally been wanting to read it since this time last year. I just bought it this year, but it's a book that's been on my radar for quite a while because of Phantom coming out, and so it's just really caught my attention, and I feel like now is the best time. So for this particular prompt, I did Haunting Adeline, which is the first book of the Cat and Mouse duology. I do believe this is on Kindle Unlimited as well, so if the book becomes too heavy to hold in my hand because this is a brick, then I would just switch to the Kindle version and probably just read it from my iPad because my Kindle is currently taken with a few other reads. All right, y'all, we rocking and rolling. We just gonna have to deal with my baby's toes. Sorry, y'all. All right, prompt number 10, the last and final one. This is what my hand went to. Yeah. A book from your oldest unread book haul. Oldest unread book haul. Ooh. Would I need to go into the archives of my YouTube videos for this? For a book with a haunted house theme, I'm gonna have to go to my Kindle and see what I got available. not quite a haunted house, but we're gonna make it try to fit. One option that I will have is the Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. That is an option. I also have a book that I borrowed through Kindle Unlimited by Mads Rafferty, I believe is her name, and I'm trying to find it because I believe that actually fits the prompt. Deadly Occupants is also another option, but I already made up in my mind that I would like to choose Deadly Occupants for the haunted house setting, so that is going to be the book that I use for this particular prompt. A book that's been on my TBR for over a year. I picked this one because I have literally been wanting to read it since this time last year. I just bought it this year, but it's a book that's been on my radar for quite a while because of Phantom coming out, and so it's just really caught my attention, and I feel like now is the best time. So for this particular prompt, I did Haunting Adeline, which is the first book of the Cat and Mouse duology. I know this is a dark romance. I know this is, I think, like a stalker turned lover type situation. I believe, I could be wrong, but I'm just gonna kind of leave it at that and let the wind take me where it may. All right, for the book option that says a book with a fall food or drink reference, I'm going to be reading The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I do also have Fall I Want by Lyra Parrish, and I'm gonna try to read both, but for the sake of this prompt, I am going to stick with The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I've heard mixed reviews about it, but I'm excited to read it for myself. A book inspired by folklore or mythology. So for these, I have a few options. Some of these could not fall under the category, but I really tried my best to pick books that I thought will fall under the category, and we have quite the stack here. I'll just hold it up. I have Babylonia. I have Catabasis, which reminds me of Greek mythology because I think it's likened to Dante's Inferno. I also have Bemused, which is about the muses from Hercules, which we also know comes from Greek and Roman mythology. Greek mythology, I'm pretty sure, but I don't know if he exists in Roman mythology either. Hurricane Wars, which I believe is likened to Asian folklore mythology, and then Neferura, which is Egyptian mythology. So for this particular prompt, I think I would like to go with, I'm torn between Catabasis, Neferura, and Babylonia, but I want to be realistic about what I think I'm gonna actually read. But I've seen a lot of hype behind Catabasis and heard nothing but really good things about it actually. And I believe this is also on Kindle Unlimited, so I can read it on my Kindle. But the font size is brilliantly beautiful. I am here for it. I don't necessarily care for the texture of the paper that they use for the book, but I can get over that. I think I'm gonna step out of my comfort zone, y'all, and I'm gonna go with Catabasis. Ooh, I'm really nervous about it. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is definitely completely out of my comfort zone, but why not? For a book with dark, blood, or dead in the title, all three of the books that I came across has dark in the title. So the first option is All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. I also have A Touch of Darkness, which is the first books in the Hades and Persephone series. And then I also have One Dark Kiss by Rebecca Zanetti. And this is, I believe, a Snow White retelling. I really could go for any of the books that I selected. I am going to go with One Dark Kiss just simply because I want to have a variety for my TBR this month. So we're going to use this for dark in the title. It's going to be so fun putting all of these books back. The book from your oldest unread book haul. I thought about all of my old book hauls from years and years ago. I believe like 6+ years ago, from when I first started posting videos on YouTube. I did various classroom book hauls, and so this happens to be one of the first books that I bought for myself for my classroom. So we're going to use that for this prompt. What if the person you need the most is someone you've never met? So I'm intrigued. I'm interested. This seems like it's going to be a palette cleanser for all of the darkness that I'm going to be, oh my goodness, for all of the darkness that I'm going to be reading in the month of October. So I do appreciate having this. A book that feels like a cozy blanket and a warm drink. We have a few options that I selected for this. So this is the stack of books I have. I have Watermoon, which we're not going to even get into. Welcome to the Hainam Dung Bookshop. The Unmaking of June Pharaoh, Here One Moment by Leanne Moriarty, sorry. And then The Heartbreak Hotel. And I don't know, y'all. I think I want to try something different. So I'm going to eliminate The Heartbreak Hotel and Here One Moment. We're going to put those off to the side, and maybe I can come back to them in the month of November. I've been saying that I'm going to read Watermoon for months now, and I've wanted to. I just haven't made it a huge priority. But I think I am going to make it a priority. So I think it's coming down to The Unmaking of June Pharaoh and Water Moon. I think I'm gonna go with The Making of June Pharaoh, but just out of principle, I'm also gonna add Water Moon to my TBR, not as a specific prompt, but because I need to read this. I've been putting it on my monthly TBR for at least the last 6 months, and so now I'm gonna pee or get off the pot. So I'm gonna make myself read this. If I don't read this in the month of October, I am going to unhaul it. For the sake of this prompt, for something nice, cozy, and warm, it is going to be The Unmaking of June Pharaoh. For a story set in autumn or around Halloween, this is real easy. So the two options that I came up with were You Again and People Watching, and it looks like You Again is going to be a rivals to lovers type story, and then we also have this emotional romance. I've never read Hannah Bonham Young before, and I've seen more hype around People Watching, so I'm just gonna fall under the influence. And I love the cover, by the way. I think I want to recreate this cover with my husband. My husband is tatted up on his arms just like the main character here on the covers, and see what we can come up with. So for that, I'm gonna go with People Watching for a book set in autumn or near Halloween, a book where the cover could be a Halloween costume. One year I dressed up as Sally, my fiance. Well, he was my fiance at the time, but my husband and I dressed up as Sally and Jack. I'll post a picture of it up on the screen. So I have Sally's Lament, which is one of the latest books that came out in the Twisted Tale series. Now, even though I did pick this as an option, I am going to hold off on reading it because I would like to do a Nightmare on, well, I'm gonna say Nightmare on Elm Street, Lord. Different movie, A Nightmare Before Christmas video, probably in the month of November. So I'm gonna hold off on reading Sally's Lament until I can get to that video, because I have a few Sally books that I would like to read, and so I want to do a whole thing about it. I need to finish thinking through it, but we're gonna make that happen. I also have the Rapunzel Twisted Tale book, What Once Was Mine. What if Rapunzel's mother drank a potion from the wrong flower? And Rapunzel has long gray hair instead of golden hair, so I think that's pretty interesting. And then if I could, or I can, I guess I can in a technical sense, one year I would love to dress up as Princess Tiana. I love her, so I have Almost There. What if Tiana made a deal that changed everything? So for the sake of Halloween, I'm going to go ahead and pick Almost There from the Twisted Tale series by Farrah Rashan, and I'm so excited to actually read this. A thriller or mystery, pretty vague of a prompt. I am going to hold on to this just for next month. I have 4 books. These are a little bit lighter, so I can hold on to them a little easier. I have The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, She's Not Sorry, Kill Creatures, and The Reformatory. So for this particular prompt, I do know The Housemaid is an entire series, and they are going to be releasing the Housemaid movie. Yeah, happy boy. They're going to be releasing the Housemaid movie in December. So I definitely want to get to the Housemaid series as soon as possible. However, that is not a priority that I have for the month of October. If I really was adamant about it, I can read it in the month of November or even December. So I'm going to put that down. The Reformatory, I know, is going to be a really heavy read. What we going to pick, son? Okay, I'm going to let my son pick which book we'll read. So whichever one he grabs. All right, well, he keeps hitting the Reformatory, so the Reformatory it is. That's what we'll be reading for. I'll be reading for the month of October. Okay, so this is based on a true story, and I know I need to be mentally prepared. So I'm gonna pick this for the sake of the prompt, but just in case I am not there, I am going to go with Kill Creatures as a backup. I do believe that the Reformatory is probably going to be, and by probably I mean will be, a heavy and difficult read for me. Just in case I'm not in a mental space or have the mental capacity to read that particular book, or it weighs heavy, I'm going to use Kill Creatures as a possible or potential backup. So I'm going to add that with Water Moon. It won't be on my TBR officially. Yeah. All right. If you haven't already subscribed, again, go ahead and do so. If you have any specific If you have any specific recommendations or any books that you're going to be reading in the month of October, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear from you and be able to interact with you. I'm also trying to reach some subscriber goals before the end of the year, so I would also appreciate likes, comments, shares, and subscriptions. And with that being said, I will see y'all next time for the next video. Bye.